Hello, this is Evan here from the Trade Risk on Wednesday, December 23rd, 2020. We are intraday right now, and this is our weekly swing trade ideas video where we bring you stocks based on a variety of discretionary, technical, and quantitative criteria, all of which we'll break down in just a moment for you. As always, these videos are sponsored by our partners over at Investors Business Daily. We curate ideas from their stock lists. You can get access to their stock lists with a link in the description of this video. So we've got a good amount of names to run through today. We're going to start with some discretionary setups. So these are basically just names that I sort of eyeball based on IBD's watch list, RTR 150 watch list, and sort of pull out some interesting looking, strong technical patterns. So MKSI, this is the first one, for instance. You can see here we're trading at all-time highs in this particular stock. It's had a very strong run-up for November, and it's consolidating right now. It's looking pretty healthy in its consolidation. Might be a little early in its consolidation. It's had a big move, but just a good relative strength candidate, good momentum name, and technically just acting quite strong. So MKSI might not be ready just yet, but it's, again, a good sort of watch list candidate here as it bases near its highs. Number two is XONE. So this one here, if you're a fan of classical sort of chart patterns, you know, you've got this little potential sort of inverted developing here. And what I, more specifically sort of like about it, this isn't a stock at all-time highs. In fact, it's been in a pretty tough spot for most of its trading career. This is now just back to its multi-year highs, though. So it's trading now at basically the top end of a multi-year range. It got as high as about 15, almost 16 just a couple of months ago. It's pulled back now, and it looks like it's got some pretty good support kind of carved out in here. This nice little rounded bottom, higher level of upper level support built in here around 1130. And if this can start to get going here, I think it could look interesting. So XONE, different look there, but I think it's got some potential. TGT, so this is Target. This is a name that I shared on social, StockTwits or Twitter the other day. And I think it just generally here is looking pretty strong. It's had a very powerful uptrend here for most of this year. It got as high as about 180, and it's been pulling back these past several weeks. Pretty orderly, low volume pullback. No big, expansions in range or, huge warning signals by any stretch. So it's been pretty orderly in its pullback. It's starting to move sideways here around 170, and I think this is something worth paying attention to. It's a classic sort of long-term market leader and acting very well technically. Last but not least is VSTO. This is a name that we talked about last week. So this is sort of an update on it and maybe a small victory lap for just the call out on the trade idea. But VSTO, so if you recall, we talked about this last Wednesday in our 1216 video. And so this one, again, wasn't one that was at all-time highs, but it was one that saw lots of momentum through 2020, an incredible amount of momentum from single digits up to 20 plus. And we really just highlighted this nice sideways range that developed since July. And what was more interesting to it here when we talked about it was the fact that it was starting to break this little downtrend line at the bottom end of this range. We saw this expansion up, and we talked about it right in here. As you can see, it clearly had a second kind of move to the upside here. So it's, had a pretty powerful move up 2 days ago, or I'm sorry, yesterday. In fact, it was up 22%. So ripped to new highs, new 52-week highs, new multi-year highs, and did it on some heavy volume. And you could argue that it's still just pretty actionable because it went sideways for 6-7 months, and now it's finally breaking out here. So VSTO back on here as a follow-up and sort of recurring sort of trade idea. So that's it. That's all from sort of my discretionary eyeballing there of the watch list that we watch. Let's take a look at some technical setups. So WST. So this is WST is a name that came across our smart trend filter scans. So if I put on the smart trend filters here, this is basically a indicator that we developed for TC2000. It's available for download and you can run it on your machine. But this measures price and volume, and it helps you determine trend strength. And essentially what we can see here is that we just got to transition back up into the bullish state. So it's a bit of a buy signal. And so if we go back to the stock, you can see that it's a stock that's again in a strong uptrend. It's trading at its highs. It's put in a nice sideways range here over the past multiple months, and it is coming off of the low end of the range, transitioning up here. And so very similar to like a VSTO, we're essentially looking at a stock that is, you know, from the bottom end of the range starting to transition up, and certainly has the potential to get back up to the top end of the range and, you know, in a perfect world would then break out. So WST, it's a smart trend filter, bullish transition. That's what's occurring here on this particular stock. Second idea we're going to talk about from the technical side is JD, and we're going to look at a weekly time frame. And this is hitting our most popular scan, which is our pullback strength scan on a weekly time frame. So essentially what you have here is a strong uptrend. We're looking at a weekly time frame, and you've had several weeks down off of its all-time highs, and now here it is trying to get going again. It's trying to break out. It's trying to move, almost like this turning into a, you know, not exactly a bull flag by any stretch, but, you know, you've got this downtrend here, and then it's starting to lift up above the prior week and starting to get going. So JD hitting our weekly pullback scan. So that's the last idea from our technical side. And finally, we're going to leave you with one quantitative signal. And so what that means is this is coming from, we have two trading systems, two fully quantitative trading systems. So that means they're out of my hands. They are programmed, they are trained, and they take decisions based on the models we've created. So this is from our Lamerick trading system. This is a very tactical, short-term, average hold times about 4 days for this particular trading system. And we got a buy signal in Costco yesterday. So we got a buy signal yesterday. We took the signal yesterday. We are currently down on this trade right now. I think we own it 364, I believe, is where we own it. So we are currently down a few points on this trade, and we continue to hold it right now. Essentially, there's no predetermined target or stop on this particular trade for this system. So the relevant information for you, if this is helpful in any way, is basically that hold time's about 4 days, goes for, you know, an average of a several percent profit target, or several percent stop loss is kind of in the area that it's looking to trade for. And it's got about a 65% accuracy in its signals. So that's kind of about as much as I can share what I think would be helpful for this system. Obviously, do your homework on all of these, because not just the Costco, but all of these setups, because, you know, I'm not going to have a video tomorrow sort of updating you on any of our thoughts or analysis, or if something changes, or if, you know, the markets move. I'm not publishing a video tomorrow to say, hey, I've updated where I think or what the strategy is for any of these names. So that's obviously on everyone individually to come up and to use this information in their own way, system, and execution. Hopefully that makes sense. And that's it. That's what I got for this week's video. So lots of different looks. And I will actually be posting a video tomorrow. So we got the Christmas holiday Friday. Markets are closed. It's a half day tomorrow. So I'm going to do the weekly market analysis video tomorrow. It might be a little bit shorter, but do keep an eye out for that. And if I don't see you, or if you don't tune into that video, then have a great holiday and time off. Otherwise, hope to see you tomorrow. And that's all I got. So thanks. Have a good day, and we'll see you then.